You know, we're all used to rooting for the hero, right? The person who fights for justice, who values their friends. But what if the main character wasn't a hero at all? What if he was a stone-cold villain, driven by a logic so absolute it's kind of terrifying? Today, we're diving into the story of Fang Yuan, a character who doesn't just take a different path, he sets the entire hero's journey on fire.
And this quote, man, it just says it all. His goal isn't saving the world. It's not about protecting anyone. It's just one single-minded obsession, eternal life. And just think about that last part for a second. He's willing to die for immortality. That tells you everything. To him, this life is just another resource, something to be burned through in his relentless climb towards an existence that never ends.
And this right here, this just puts it in black and white. It shows the massive gap between Fang Yuan and basically every other protagonist out there. A hero sees justice, Fang Yuan only sees what benefits him. A hero treasures friendship, to Fang Yuan, friends are just tools. He completely swaps out morality for cold, hard pragmatism and forgets self-sacrifice. It's all about absolute self-preservation. It's a total flip of everything we're taught to root for.
So, you have to wonder, what creates a person like this? Well, his story doesn't start with some noble calling. It kicks off when a 500-year-old demonic cultivator, that is, a practitioner who has thrown all morality out the window for power, gets reborn into his own 15-year-old body, but with all the memories, schemes, and cynicism of his past life intact.
Yeah, that number? 500 plus. That is the whole key to understanding this guy. It's not just a number. It represents 5 centuries of scheming, of being betrayed, of brutal, ugly fights for survival. He's not some naive kid starting his journey. He's an ancient, calculating mind in a young body, and that gives him a ridiculous advantage right from the very beginning.
And those 500 years, they hammered these traits into him. He has this incredible perseverance, sure, but it's matched with a belief that he can only rely on himself. He operates with zero moral restraints. Emotions? To him, they're just masks you wear to get what you want. And absolutely everyone, friends, family, enemies, is just a potential piece on his chessboard.
So armed with this incredibly ruthless mindset, Fang Yuan doesn't just sit around and wait for power to fall into his lap. Nope, he sees it by manipulating literally everyone and everything around him from day one. He doesn't wait for opportunities, he creates them.
Okay, but before we dive into his schemes, you gotta understand how power works in this world. It all comes down to something called goo. Think of them as these magical, insect-like creatures that are the source of all supernatural abilities. If you can refine and control powerful goo, you have power. And for Fang Yuan, they're the most important tools he has.
And I mean right from the get-go, the second he's reborn, his master plan is already rolling. He plays his greedy aunt and uncle like a fiddle to get his inheritance back. He uses his own brother's amazing talent to climb the clan's political ladder. And he takes the clan's own rules, the very things meant to keep order, and twists them into weapons to use against his rivals. It's like he's playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
This quote really just sums up how he sees the world. To him, any organization, a clan, a family, you name it, isn't a community. It's a pyramid, a structure where the people at the bottom exist to serve the people at the top. Rules aren't about fairness, they're about control.
But why? Why do all this? What could possibly drive someone to be so extreme? It all boils down to one thing, that ultimate prize of eternal life. His ambition is so huge, it completely changes what words like cost and sacrifice even mean.
And seriously, pause and think about that for a second. What would you be willing to give up for true, absolute immortality? Your family? Your reputation? Your own humanity? For Fang Yuan, the answer to all of those questions is a very quick and a very easy yes.
So you've got all these things that we're told are supposed to matter, right? Fame, wealth, love, compassion. To Fang Yuan, they're just distractions. They're chains that tie people down to a short, meaningless life. He believes that by throwing all of that away, he's actually freeing himself for the only goal that truly matters. Now, you might think his enemies are just other people, but as his story unfolds, it becomes clear that his true enemy is something way bigger, way more cosmic. He is waging a one-man war against fate itself.
So, in this universe, there's this force called Heaven's Will. Think of it like destiny or the will of the universe, right? An invisible hand guiding everything. But But here's the twist. Fang Yuan figured out that this force wasn't neutral. It was actively working against him, setting traps for him. So his struggle isn't just against mortals, it's against an all-powerful cosmic force that wants him to fail.
And this isn't just some philosophical debate he's having. No, he is actively proving his rebellion is real. He doesn't just break society's rules, he shatters the fundamental laws of power in his world, pulling off things that nobody has ever done before. Things that are considered legendary.
I mean, get this. He takes two totally separate paths of power, these specialized schools of magic, and just smashes them together into one insane killer move. He merges ancient battle formations with powerful artifacts. These aren't just small improvements. They are revolutionary breakthroughs that prove he is on a whole other level of genius and willpower.
And this quote, this is Fang Yuan in a nutshell. It's his entire philosophy. He has this unstoppable will that sees every single obstacle, every person, every rule, even destiny itself, as just another thorn in his path that needs to be cut down.
Which brings us to a really interesting and kind of uncomfortable final question. Look, Fang Yuan is a villain. There's no doubt about it. But his story makes you wonder, in a world run by fate and systems designed to hold you down, is his brand of absolute, ruthless logic a twisted kind of freedom?